Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming and joining this session all about the creative process. I hope that you've enjoyed All Access Fest so far. We have a great group of people here today just to talk about the creative, process and all that fun stuff. My name is Jamie Hart. I recently founded a company called Hart and Songs. I'm based out of Los Angeles. It's an artist development company where we focus on artist management and then digital rights management for catalog collection. I will let everybody else introduce themselves. And also, I have a question for all of the panelists. If you could have lunch with anyone in the music entertainment industry today, dead or alive, who would it be? So I'll let Ryan start us off.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ryan Nealon. I am a singer-songwriter based in Los Angeles. I am managed by the wonderful Jamie Hart. Wait, there we go. That's how you do it. And I guess my dream person that I could have lunch with alive right now in this moment, probably Phoebe Bridgers. I think that's my answer.
Nice.
I think
Why?
Did you say why?
Yeah, I'm
Her
curious.
songwriting is my favorite. I'm
Yeah.
obsessed. I think there's just there hasn't been an artist like her in a really long time, and it's just been very reminiscent of like the oldies, and like I'm obsessed with that style of writing, and I would just love to like pick her noggin for like an hour.
That's a good answer.
Mm-hmm. Lydia, go for it.
Okay, guys. My name is Lydia Caesar, and I am a singer, songwriter as well. I am also a host. I host Music Forward's Open Mic Fridays every other Friday night on Twitch. So if you're an artist and you want to get down with Open Mic Fridays, sign up. Like, not me plugging during the during the panel.
You got us.
And if I could have lunch with any artist, dead or alive, I would choose Kanye West. I think I would love to just pick his brain. I think he is one of the great artistic minds of our time. I mean, his production is like completely next level. But I also think that there's some other interesting things going on there that I would love to find out about over lunch. So that's my person, Kanye West.
It's gonna be a long lunch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
It's
good.
gonna be long.
We can talk therapy, Kanye.
It's gonna be drama filled, but I feel like it'll be a good time.
I love that. Hey guys, my name is Jake Posner. I am the founder and CEO of The Culture Theory. I started in artist management back in 2015, where I found a band called Arizona, and in recent years, I've expanded my management roster to include songwriters and producers. And music has been my world for the last 15, almost feels like 20 years now. And I'm just professionally lucky and happy to be here every day. If it was for a dream lunch, so creatively, I would say James Murphy, the lead singer of LCD Sound System, because he's one of the greatest that I've ever witnessed and one of the greatest musicians of all time. Business-wise, I'm going to throw that one in there. I would say Irving Azoff or Guy Osseri, because I have questions and I want to pick brains. That's where I'm at.
Those are so good.
It's cheating.
You got it all in there.
I couldn't decide.
That's okay. There are no rules. I forgot to give my answer. So my answer is Stevie Nicks. I absolutely love her. She's a queen. Her music, her performing, the lyrics, everything. She's my favorite. I'm so stoked that we're all here to talk about the creative process. We're going to follow a couple questions, but we don't know where this conversation will go because we're talking about creatives and, collaborating. It can go anywhere. But I'm going to start by asking Ryan and Lydia a question. How do you approach the creative process for yourself? And how do you find inspiration and creativity, whether it be in writing sessions and creating online content, whatever it may be?
Yeah, I mean, I'll go first. My songwriting in particular is something that I usually like. I like to dig deep in my just trauma because I think for myself too, like I've had a lot of stuff happened to me since I was, you know, a child, and as I've grown into adulthood, like I have a lot of stories that I want to tell, and I think like diving into stuff that you're afraid to talk about is something that I've always like really championed, and I think like with songwriting, it's really kind of helped me heal in a lot of ways. It's kind of like therapy, but it's not. And then when it comes to social media can be kind of a beast in itself, and it can definitely be heartless a lot of the time. I see like a lot of creators just really just doing it for views, and rather than like actually doing it to use it as a tool to find their fan bases. And that's why I tell people, like, if you want to make any sort of career in entertainment and you want to use social media as kind of that like pivotal tool that's going to help you get to the next level, you have to use it smart. Like you have to know, like, okay, like it's going to take a bit longer than just doing all the viral trends. But if you want to find the people that are actually going to really love your music and really stick with you throughout everything, then you have to go the long way. And it's just, you know, sharing and continuing to share your music on the platforms. And there really is no method to it. But I think that's my answer to that question.
No,
what do you think?
That's a great answer. And I feel similar in the sense of like really tapping into like my own personal story. You'll be surprised as to how like using specific things or like specific concepts, how much those will translate to people when you're just really living in your truth and telling, you know, your honest story. A lot of times also I'll draw from like stuff that I see when I'm out and about in the street. Like I may see like a couple, or I may see like somebody walking their dog, or I may see like a mom and a daughter in the mall, or something will like spark me. And I have like a note that says song concepts. And I just kind of like take notes of like stuff that I see, and I can always, you know, call on that note when I need to write a song and I'm not sure what I want to write about. I'm like, you know what, let me open up my notes app and go through my list of concepts and see like what I'm feeling today based on stuff that I've seen in the past. So I think it's really important to like, one, take notes. Two, voice notes is really important because you may get a melody or something may pop up. Sometimes you may even like dream a melody. And I promise you, if you don't get up immediately, it's gone forever, because it is gone. Okay. Like if you dream a melody, I know it's hard. You're like tired or you're sleeping. If it's good in the dream, get up and record it. Cause if not, it's gone. So like, those are just some of the things. And like, I have a song that's called St. Louis, and it's literally about falling in love with my husband, who's from St. Louis, right? At the time, he was my boyfriend. And I just wrote this song literally called St. Louis, about falling in love with a guy from St. Louis. That song is probably my most popular song. It touches people everywhere I perform it. And I never thought that a song so specific, but women are like, I have my St. Louis. And, you know, they can relate to the love story, even though it was very, very specific. So I think that that's something that artists tend to shy away from. But I think that we should all dig deeper into, like, you know, writing and creating songs from a really personal space. You don't want to dig too deep and dig up too much trauma. I don't know, maybe Ryan does.
I think you do. But personally, that's also just like, that's my tea. But I think like plenty of people are fine with not doing that. And that's totally fine.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Like digging really, really deep may get you like that smash hit that you need. You know, you really never know. But I think all bets are off when it comes to being creative. Like anything goes, right? So my biggest advice is just go for it. There's no rules. Do what you want. Do what feels right and what feels natural to you. If it feels good, it is good. So
amazing. That's so incredible. That's a really beautiful story, how a song could be so specific, but lyrics can touch people in so many different ways that you never know. I love that. That's so great. So, Jake, you've had a long history managing and working with all different types of artists, genres, personalities, vibes, social media following count numbers, you know? What are some of the recent lessons and journeys that you've learned alongside the artists that you work with?
Yeah. I think, I mean, it's a good question. And I think it ties into even what Lydia and Ryan were talking about with songwriting. And it's something that's been resonating, and just kind of this phrase keeps going back and around in my head for a while, is like, you can smell authenticity from a mile away, you know? And I think in songwriting, I think in social media, I think when artists are doing things that are not authentic to them, you're not fooling anyone if you're not even fooling yourself. You know what I mean? And so I think, like, you know, the best artists that do it and that are connecting both musically, both on social media and how they portray themselves, like, the thing I encourage people the most is, like, be yourself unapologetically. Like, even, and I remember even too, like, when we first started out, even with Arizona, I was brand new. I was 22 years old and I found this band. You know, we were very, very lucky and blessed to get this big platform through Spotify that put us on every playlist. And, you know, I remember when we first started talking, I was like, guys, we like everything. We don't not like anything. We're down for everything. And it was really when everyone started to not be afraid to say, like, well, I like these things, I'm passionate about these things, that we started to really facilitate really cool connections with different, whether it was audiences, whether it was brands, you know. And I think in general, I think that's my biggest thing with, no matter how big or small your platform is, because your platform might be small today, but if, you know, you connect with somebody, you know, like even Lydia, to the point that you're saying with, like, with St. Louis, is like something that you feel passionate about, you know, when the pen leaves your hand, you're like, well, that was really personal to me. You have no idea how it's going to resonate with anyone else, let alone millions of people. And that all of a sudden becomes the thing. So I think, like, when you allow yourself to live authentically, it just takes time, you know. But
and it opens up and it may really open up more doors for you, because you're being, like, truly genuine about whatever it is, something specific, or like a brand that you love. Like, if you really honestly just, like, love Forever 21, it's like your thing, that's your store, you're, like, obsessed. You know, you're not 21, you're 30, but Forever 21 is your thing. And you let people know. You never know what that truth may open up a door, a brand deal, some kind of endorsement, because you weren't just like, oh, I love every brand, come find me, you know.
Right. You can't just expect them all to show up like that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love that. Tying with that, Ryan, your recent song "Feel Good" really does touch some heartstrings, pulls at some heartstrings of people that relate to body dysmorphia and other issues that they don't, you know, love themselves and feel good about themselves. How was that process to go from writing that song and, you know, thinking that it's a really vulnerable song, and then releasing it, and then having a bunch of people relate with that? Like, how did that feel? And then I know that you also got some backlash and some negative feedback. How was that? How was that journey?
Yeah, it was fun. I literally had to block the word whale from my Instagram account, which is kind of hilarious, because I'm just like, you guys couldn't even give me a better insult.
People were calling you a whale?
Really? Oh yeah, no. It literally does not faze me. But it felt very unreal to have just that reaction, because before that, so to kind of paint the picture, like, I had been grinding for 10 years in Los Angeles, have not had anything happen before this moment, and I had been just, like, really chugging away. And in 2021, my friend sat me down and was just like, what are you doing? Why aren't you utilizing social media? Why aren't you posting at all? Why are you doing this? Like, why are you doing that? And for me, I was stuck I was working a lot of different corporate jobs. I was, you know, doing different things behind the scenes, and I wasn't focusing on myself. And he challenged me, and he was just like, I dare you to post online every single day for a year and say that it won't change your life. And it did.
I love that.
Cool. It's been cool. And then, so, like, I had my first sort of viral moment in November of 2022, and that wasn't with Feel Good, that was with a different song. And Feel Good happened in March, and it was so funny how it happened, because I was in the middle of teasing another song, and it was doing horribly. And so, like, any artist can understand, like, you can go from 1.whatever million views, you can go from hundreds of thousands of views to 45 really quick.
Isn't it humbling?
It makes
like, what is that about?
You will never be able to challenge it. It is the algorithm. It is not you. And then, like, you just kind of have to say, like, you know what? They don't want that song for this season. And that's literally exactly what happened with Feel Good. I wrote this song after I had just and you know, if you think you have bad luck with dating, baby, so when it comes to just like this, how the song happened and was created, so I had just a string of bad dates that made me feel really bad about myself. One was, you know, I invited someone to go get an ice cream and go for a walk, and we ended up hooking up instead, and that was the worst thing ever, and we both felt like crap. And then he unfollowed me and blocked me, and that felt really awesome. And then the week after, I was just like, oh wait, let me go on a date with this other person that wants to, you know, take me out to a restaurant. That's really sweet. And then you sit at the restaurant for 45 minutes and he doesn't show up and he blocks you. And then you go home and then think that it's because of your body. And then you have a session the next day and then you write a song about feeling disgusting in your own body. And then the day after, you go on a hike with some of your best friends and you're just like, you know what? I had posted a video the day before and I got 45 views. And I was just like, you know what? I have nothing to lose. Let me just post this thing really quick. No hashtags. And like, it was when like you were scrolling like on TikTok and you see like, if an artist just sits there and puts their phone and sings their song into the phone, you're not going to go viral. And so I was like, okay, that's fine. And then I just did it with the shittiest sounding demo of all time. And it changed my life in 24 hours.
Wow.
Like that. And it was crazy. It was freaking crazy. And then I got so much love from it. And I also got a lot of hate, but it's hand in hand. It's what you get. So you just have to roll with it. The funniest thing though is like, you know, like being called a whale wasn't even the funniest one. The funniest one was go to the gym. And I'm someone like, I love the gym. I go to the gym 4 times a week. So it just made me laugh because I was just like, I think these people just think I'm sitting on my couch eating potato chips. But like, and it's so fun. And I am doing that, you know, I'm not.
And other things though, among other things.
Like I'm doing both. Why can't I do both?
Why can't I do both?
No, but at the same time, it was very, very cool. It was very humbling. It was a really cool process to like go through, especially because like it brought me to working with Jamie. It brought me to like working with my distributor that I recently signed with. Like there's just so many things that have happened because of Feel Good. So I'm very, very grateful for everything that happened with that song. But it just goes to show, if I didn't have those terrible dating experiences and if I didn't write about something that really, really hurt me, that I didn't even write to release. I just wrote it to freaking write it because I was going through a lot. And then I just teased it without thinking of it. My whole album was already done. And like, I literally had no desire to put it out. I was just like, this is just something that I think will resonate maybe with some people, and it resonated with a lot of people. And that was a really special first like kind of viral moment for me. And I'll always be able to hold on to that and cherish it. So I guess that's I'm sorry, I really gave you like the full story, not the abridged version.
It was great though. And I honestly feel like artists need to hear stories like that just because it's such a like it'll play games with your mind when you post and post and post and you don't see results. And it's a lot of times it's those posts that you're really not thinking about, the ones that were not intended. You're like, I just need to get something up today, and it'll be the post that will happen for you. And I have like a similar story. In like my first viral moment was a video of me and my daughter, a mother-daughter duet, that I literally recorded the duet for my mom's 70th birthday Zoom party. And we recorded it and filmed it. And it was great. It went over well. Everybody loved it. And one day I was just like, man, I hadn't posted in a couple of days. And I was just really starting to get going on TikTok. I think it had like maybe 15,000 on TikTok, but it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't viral. I wasn't a sensation or anything like that. But I just needed to get a post up. And I came across a clip of our singing, and I was like, oh, let me just post this. This is super cute. Well, 14 million views later, like it was a moment. And then we did another one because they loved it. And that one did 15 million. And then we did another one. And the thing about that though, was that like, because that's what went viral, it became the thing that like everybody wanted to see more of. And it was like, you know, that's what we do, but it's not necessarily what we do. Like we didn't want to just, I didn't want to just continue. Like we'll always sing together, but we didn't want to just become like the duo that you see all over the place. So that's something too that you have to consider when you're putting out content, is make sure that what you're putting out is really honest and true to who you are and what you want the world to know you as. Because if that's what pops, you're gonna have to be consistent with that.
Oh yeah, I'll echo that too. I think for a lot of up and coming artists, something that they really fall victim to is feeling that they have to do covers. And that was something that I had always been really against doing. And everyone told me I was crazy. Everyone said, like, no, you can't do anything without doing all these covers. And now what are all my friends who do covers stuck doing? Because nothing else performs well. Covers.
Yeah. Well, it's true. And even Lydia, to your point too, of like, I think you made a good point. Like, it's like, even though you have an audience that's building off of doing one thing, and even to Ryan, what you're saying with covers is like, it's up to the person whose page it is to control the narrative of that page, right? So if it becomes, the whole page becomes like, well, welcome to my covers page, or welcome to my mother-daughter content page. It's like, that's what the user, the follower who then followed you in that moment is going to be expecting from you. But the cool thing and the empowering thing about the platform is like, and again, like to the point that you've been making so many times, Ryan, is like, do it as if no one was watching, but know that you're putting your message out there of saying, look, I know a lot of you are new here or followed me because of this, but like, this is who I am. And this is why, right? Because that's important. And like, I think that's how you get caught up in this web of, well, I'm going to do a cover today until it goes viral, and I'm going to do a cover. But then some of these artists that I think, we've all seen that have become big just for doing covers, they start exploring their own original music, and the people that following them are not necessarily ready for it or the right audience right off the bat. That again, if you're going to kind of gauge, which I could talk about this for an hour, but take any kind of A&R notes from your TikTok audience, bad. Don't do that, because again, these people are reacting to what they're seeing and witnessing. It doesn't mean that they're qualified to be giving you that kind of feedback.
No, you're so right. And that's kind of like how I like took my TikTok back. I still like, I literally just do more than that. Like it's, you'll get duets, you'll get my original stuff, you'll get some covers, and then you'll also get vocal tips and tricks. Like, and I literally just modeled myself, like made that the thing, like just beat them in the head with it, be consistent with it, and tell them who you are. Like the audience is always going to be like, give me whatever they want. Give me another duet. And I'm going to be like, no, you're going to get this original today. You're going to like it.
Yeah, no, I will say too, just to like, I guess not necessarily play devil's advocate, but something that I ran into even recently that annoyed both Jamie and I was, a release schedule. Indie artist, you will never be able to keep a release schedule. Just accept it and know that it's never going to happen. Jamie and I, we came up with the best. No, just like this song is coming out on this day. This song is coming out on that day. We came up with the most foolproof plan in June, and I teased a song that wasn't supposed to be on the album like last week. It's the next one because people want it. So I think you just have to listen to like your audience too, because you can go rogue and just be like, you know what? I love that post went viral, but let me actually release the song that got 1/10 of those views and see what happens.
Totally.
Not the one.
Really thing. But yeah, that's kind of where like, you have to play the game, but like stay true to yourself. Just make sure that the music isn't completely different. That's
totally.
No, for real. And that's why like it's scary doing the trends and stuff, because you can go viral for something really dumb and then nobody cares about anything else you're posting. It's a really slippery slope.
My first viral post was me complaining about COVID.
Oh,
relatable.
30 days after I had like joined TikTok. This was I did like a stupid little trend. I thought nothing of it. And I was just like, I felt miserable. And so I was just like, you know what? Screw it. And then I just did a little trend and then woke up to 1 million views. And I was like, are you joking? That's the one? And like none of my original music, nothing for like months. And then I finally got it. But it was still like, it was very frustrating. And that's the thing too. It's like, you have to work through those dry spells. That is a really big thing that people don't understand. It's just like, stop like some people think like, oh, I'm not getting any views, so that means I have to stop posting. That's not what that means. It means
No.
like you have to push through.
It means you have to push through. Like if you take nothing else away from this panel today, it's do not stop because people are not watching. Like make content that you're proud of, make content that is really good, and keep making it and keep posting it. You know, you can definitely do some like research and see what's working or what's not, and you know, you can always try to get better, but don't stop because something's going to give for sure. Especially if it's
no, seriously. And just like don't let view counts defer you from like doing what you want to do. Because that was something too. Like if I let a view count tell me that like, or I guess like how to feel, then I wouldn't put out any music. Right. You know what I mean? It's just like I'm not doing it for views. I'm doing it for my own personal happiness. And if that equals views, that's awesome. If it doesn't, then it's fine. That's kind of the way that you have to like approach it. And that's how you are successful on these platforms. It might not happen immediately. And to some people it does. And it can be frustrating to some people like watching it happen, be like, why didn't it happen to me? But you just have to also think about it like it will happen if you just try and if you continue to push through. And your journey is not going to be the same as Joe Schmo's.
I was just going to say everybody's journey is different.
Yeah.
But you also have to remind yourself like why you're doing it in the first place, right? It's not about the amount of views that you're getting on this video. It's because you want to express yourself and you have something to say, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
The legends didn't have TikTok, you guys, and they they still made music. Can you freaking believe it? Like, that's what you got to think about.
No, seriously.
Definitely. Yeah, I love all the theme of like not giving up and just continue on because this journey is really difficult. For anybody that follows Jake on social media, he recently posted a fun video talking about, you know, the journey of where you feel like you need to be at a certain maybe age or a certain amount of years into this. I would love for Jake to speak.
I can speak on that. Yeah, I mean, so for context and to sum up my somewhat long ramble of a TikTok into a few seconds is I'm 31. I spent the majority of my 20s being frustrated and pissed off about where I expected myself to be at every birthday, being like, I'm here, I'm supposed to be up here. You know, I have friends that just started 5 minutes ago and they made their first million and signed this thing and did, you know, I think it's the general census and focus of that, of what that post was about was just like, it's about gratitude of where we are, of what we're doing, the fact that we even get to be creative in the first place. This is our job. This is what we spend time doing. And for those of you watching that are not yet doing this full time, it's the ability to be able to even express yourself in art and be a part of this community like that. We should be filling our tanks up with gratitude, not with the expectations and the wants of the things that we don't have, because that doesn't motivate. That only creates frustration. And you know, as many of us have seen in artists and creatives, that frustration stews and it makes us resentful people and it makes us less happy people. And like artists and musicians should be the happiest people because we get to express ourselves every day. We get to live loud, like we get to do this. And it was a realization talking to a younger producer who's, you know, in his early 20s. And I was just like, I want to save you 10 years of being pissed off because I'm on the other side of that. And I'm like, I just chose to not be upset about it anymore. And it's, I have found life to be a lot happier and a lot easier. And I think things come more naturally when you're in that place.
Love that.
Wow.
I love that. That's important.
Yeah,
we feel old at every age. Isn't that sad? It's sad.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy how the industry just makes you feel old no matter what. But you're 21 and you're like, oh no, I'm not famous yet. What's going on?
There is no standard or benchmark. It's just art.
Yeah. It is not. And honestly, social media has really evened the playing field. Like, you could pop off at any age at this point. Like
28
popping off.
18.
Yeah.
So literally, it's just like you never know, dude. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's so wonderful. Lydia, I spent a good amount of time on your YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. You've got a lot going on. You're a mom. You're a creator of all different forms. How do you feel like your creative process has evolved throughout the years including changes of like having a kid.
Yeah.
Just so many different life changes that could happen, but still, staying true to being a creator.
Mm-hmm. I think honestly, like similar to what I said before, like allowing your life to really play a role in what you create, really not shying away from like, I'm like married. So concepts may come about like off of a whole fight that I had with my husband. You know what I mean? Like out of like
Love it.
something that was really ugly, I may like maybe not in the moment, but like I'll remember like take notes or write something down. Like this is a concept, like writing about like crying or writing about tears or like thinking about how can I turn this pain into poetry and make it a song. And even like frustrations with being a mom, like being like a woman. Like I think about like Alicia Keys, this girl, a girl on fire, like concepts like that can really come from like your journey as a mom and the frustrations of like being a mom and being a creative and like trying to juggle it all. Like, you could write a song about being like a superwoman or whatever it is. Allow your life to really play a role in the pictures that you paint with your art. You're doing yourself a disservice if you don't do that, and just enjoy everything, like feel all the feels. As an artist, a lot of times it can be like, I'm not supposed to be like doing this mom thing or like this wife thing. I'm supposed to be like on tour, backstage, popping bottles of champagne. And it's like these images that we have in our minds are not always the best. They're not always healthy for your mind. Like I want to take my kids on tour with me. Like my husband's in the music industry too. Like we can take the whole family and go on the road. Let's change the narrative. It doesn't have to be what you've seen or what you know or what you think, right? And also like perception is reality. So a lot of times what you see and think isn't what it really is anyway. A lot of these rock stars and like big artists do have their families on the road with them, and they are doing a lot of different things and wearing multiple hats. It's not always as glamorous as it looks. So just really allow yourself to feel like, okay, you know what, if you're a student, like enjoy that and enjoy the feels of being a student. Like if you have a job that you actually like, but you're also an artist, enjoy that job and enjoy what the job gives you. Like don't allow like stigmas and what you think it's supposed to be deter you from like actually enjoying the moments that you are in at the time.
I want to also just piggyback off of that, Lydia, because like for people that I find that there are people that when they have a second job in music, they have something else and they kind of feel like it discredits them. Like the biggest thing I want to like reinforce is that is financial stability. That is stability in ways that artists are striving to create for themselves. So if you have an ability to take pressure off yourself and do it. Stop like when it's time to jump ship, you'll know. I promise. But like just that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to have another gig that allows you to continue to do this. So that's big on that.
Big time. Love that.
100%. Before we go into Q&A, I would like everyone to give us a little piece of advice, a little nugget. If you could put it into a sentence, that would be cool, but it could be 2 sentences. For these young creators or also people maybe aspiring to be managers of creators. If you have a nugget of advice for our audience, please give it to us. Maybe let's start with Lydia this time.
Okay. In a world where everyone is trying to be or become something and possibly something else, please remember that you are your superpower. You, everything you have in here is what's going to make you pop off. And that's it.
Love it. Claps. Amazing. Jake, give it to us.
So mine is it's simple. I said it earlier, but be unapologetically yourself. That is the only rule. And I think that it's true for even if you're a musician. I saw someone commenting before saying I'm just getting started. I don't really know the first thing about songwriting. Doesn't matter. Express yourself. Like you don't have to fit into particular arrangements, any of that stuff. Just be yourself. And even for managers, aspiring people in business, like be the person that you are. Be the person that you are proud of yourself to be. And that's how you represent yourself in this business. And I think that's how it goes. But That's it.
Love it. Okay, Ryan, here to finish us out.
Love that. I think for me, like, I think about what I would have loved to have heard when I was, 20, when I was like really starting to dive into it. And I think I really just needed someone else to tell me, like, you don't have to do something just because it's popular, or you don't have to like try to fit in with people that don't like you. That's like the biggest thing in the world. And I know that might sound just like not even music industry related, but it's just like the amount of people that I looked up to that were like, other singers, other like they were background vocalists, other artists, like that really didn't give me any time of day. And now I look back and I'm kind of at the same level as they were, like all the way back then. And
Period.
like, it's just like, you just have to put it into perspective, being like, you don't need other people to help you up the stairs when you have legs. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Love that. Nice.
That's the advice I can give, honestly.
So
That's
good.
what I would like to have heard from me.
Exactly.
I love it. Okay, so I'm going to try and get through as many of these questions as possible because I want, to answer everyone's questions. So I have one for Jake. It's going to be really quick.
Gotcha.
How do you build your artist team and know who to trust?
That's a good question. And I think the first thing I will tell you is it takes calibration. It takes practice. It takes figuring it out, because we will all, early on, we might hire people because they're our friends and because we trust them, which trust is super important. But I think, the way that I look at it is I try to find rock stars in their own specific disciplines. If somebody is they just know social media so well, and I trust them, to me, cool. They are made to fit into the social media mold. If somebody loves operations, they are incredible at connecting dots. They're incredible at coordination. It's trying to figure out what everyone's strengths are and put them into position. And don't hire friends just because, because again, that can be convoluted, and, figuring out how to deal with confrontations when not everyone is good at confrontation. There are lots of layers to it. So I think find rock stars in their own specific disciplines is the way that I would put that.
Great. That's great.
Yeah, experts. Okay, for Ryan, let's say, what are some tips for battling writer's block and becoming a faster writer when writing and co-writing sessions?
Well, I was going to say write with friends, but I think for me, like what I love to do is I love to keep either like a note or a Google Doc open of just ideas and inspirations that you really, really mess with. And also rely on your co-writers. They are there to help you. I know a lot of people that come in and alpha the crap out of a session, and it is not fun. For someone who also writes for other artists, if an artist comes into a room and they're just like me, it is not fun for anyone.
Right.
Give like the end. So like go in there, have an open mind, be open to also like coming in with a concept and like morphing the concept a bit more, like diving a bit deeper than you were thinking that you would even go. And that's kind of what I would say as far as advice for that. But writer's block happens to everybody. It will happen no matter what. And also, it's important to know too, like if you're sitting in a session and you've written, this is funny. So like I have a scale from a slation to a meshin of like how sessions go, and like if you go in there and you're like, song is great, vibes are great, it's a slation. If you go in there and the song is bad and the vibes are off, that's a meshin. So like if you can at least like acknowledge that, like 3 hours and you have a verse, or like someone sitting in the corner and they're the only other writer in the room and they're just shooting out like eyes that I despise, ocean with my devotion lyrics, and it's time to go. Then it's good to that's a wrap, call it. And that's fine. You don't have to feel like you have to get a song every single time. It's healthy to be able to say, you know what, let's call
stop.
It.
Yeah,
Drink,
I agree.
Let's do something.
That is gold. People need to know that. Like,
so like,
that's square into this circle hole right now. It's not working.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So important. Okay, good. Okay, Lydia, how do you avoid getting stuck in a specific lane, having a specific sound when you're trying to find your musical lane in terms of genre and artist identity?
Oh, well, I mean, okay, so if you're trying to find your lane. I think it's cool to just like experiment, work with a lot of different people, do a lot of co-writes, work with different producers, like literally even like get beats off of YouTube, beat stars, like however you can find beats that resonate with you, that you like, um, get into them, write to them, and see what comes of them. See how they sound. What song do you like the most? Like, what's your vibe? When you really play around and just like have fun and write to everything that comes your way, you're gonna fall in love with something, a sound, how it feels, and you're going to start to develop your own vibe, you know. So I think that's the question. Like, if you're really trying to find your own sound, don't shy away from anything, because you really never know. Be
Right.
open-minded when it comes to like your beat selection, your song selection. And I can't stress enough the power of collaboration. Like, working with other people really, like when I first started songwriting, I hated working with other people because it was embarrassing. Like, I felt like vulnerable, like, I don't want to hum this melody and I crack, or because it's a lot of ugly stuff that happens when you're songwriting. It's not always gorgeous. Like, you go through the ugly to get to the gorgeous. And like when you're collaborating, you have to throw out some lines that may not be good or a melody that may suck. But it's powerful when you finally do find people that you're like comfortable working with. Write with people, because other people are going to bring out amazing things in you, and they're going to be able to help you identify your strengths, and you'll be able to notice your weaknesses, and that's going to only make you a better and stronger artist. So
I love that.
Amazing. Okay, this has been such a fun time. I would love everyone to share how we can stay connected with each of you, whether it be Instagram, maybe just like pop your handles in the chat. That'd be helpful. I know that all of us are on the gram these days. So
we can do that.
yeah.
Yeah,
On the chat.
you guys have been amazing.
On the gram.
On the gram.
I think I did it correctly.
Yeah.
Wow, I did it. Fine. I barely even looked. Thank you so much. This was such a good conversation. It felt very positive and very genuine and real, which I feel like was my main goal, because being a creative and being in this industry can be very difficult. But yeah, thank you so much, everybody.
Of course.
Yeah,
Thank you for
guys,
having
it was so nice to
me.
hang with everybody.
It was so
Yes.
good. I love this. I got fed in this conversation too. So
Yes.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.